I mean, what are you doing with the energy of this world right now? How are you handling it? And are you able to really make heads and tails of it, or be able to anchor yourself in who you want to be versus kind of what the world is tossing at you? What are you doing right now with all the fear that is being thrown at you? Are you responding fear to fear? You know, like all this division and all this negativity, all this stuff thrown at you. Do you respond back to it with more negativity, more anger, more fear, being scared of who you are, being scared of your abilities? Or are you able to face it with love? That's the question that we want to talk about today. So if anybody wants to ask any questions, please feel free to. I am so happy to be here chatting with you. I'm Mindy, and we are going to be talking about how we face all the challenges right now with love instead of with fear. Okay, so love, this word, this energy, universal love, not romantic love. I've had romantic love with my husband for 20 some years, right? I love that man. But this is a different kind of love that we're talking about. This is universal love. This is the love that we can give to every single person on this planet, every single thing on this planet, unconditionally, if we allow ourselves to. And this word, this energy has been a part of my life for the last 10 years or so. So for many years, I owned yoga studios and ran them, taught teachers, all that stuff. And I always asked people to set an intention at the beginning of a class and to hold that energy throughout the class. Well, whenever I set an intention and I looked within to listen to my mind and my heart to feel what was my intention for that day, 99 out of 100 times, love. One word would come up, love. That's it. And it is how I've been approaching the world and approaching myself for a really long time. 10 years, give or take, okay? And like, this was not, there was plenty of love in my family growing up, but this is not how we were raised, to have this unconditional love. This wasn't it. This was a different kind of love. This is a bigger kind of love. This is a more potent kind of love. This is something that everyone deserves and everybody craves, beyond just a romantic kind of love. Because a lot of times romantic kind of love is actually just a weird form of attachment and codependency. This is the love that we all crave. And that it is our birthright. Honestly, this is our true nature. This kind of love is our true nature. And well, a few years ago, I sold my yoga studios, and about, gosh, I can't even remember. It was either last November or the November before that. So I've been working on this next piece for the last year or two. And I remember it was this time about a year, maybe two ago. Time and my brain don't really go very well together. I literally would have to go back and look at a journal to figure out what the actual timing was. Well, I was meditating and I asked God, what do you need from me? Mother, what do you need from me? How can I make myself better so that I can do the work that you've sent me here to do? And it was to put down fear. Like, okay, great, put down fear, but how do you do that? How do you get rid of fear? This is ingrained in us. Like, you know, you have fear of touching a hot stove so that you don't do that. You have fear when you have one experience, so you don't want to do that again. And unfortunately, our minds condition ourselves to see danger where there is none. And we create the stories in our heads. We create the fear in our minds, and it feels real, right? Fear can be real, or it can be, you know, something that's made up in the head, in the heart, and we expect to be hurt in the same ways just because we've expected or we've experienced something in the past. Our small selves, our ego selves, say, don't do that again because you're going to have the same result. And we don't want to be hurt. We don't want to live in that fear. And so instead, we're going to live in this corner of fear because we're more familiar with this corner of fear, this comfort zone corner of fear. But don't go beyond that because that is not safe. That's cool, right? Like, the ego self is supposed to save us from danger. And that's awesome because, you know, sometimes we don't want to jump off the cliff when everybody else does. Sometimes we need that element of fear, but that's a fear of physical safety. And what we're talking about is emotional safety. And a lot of us, especially the way that our kids, even us as 40, 50-year-olds, 30-year-olds, have been taught in the educational system to be afraid of each other, to be afraid of our race, to be afraid of our gender, to be afraid of our society, to be afraid of the patriarchy or the matriarchy or whatever. Oh my gosh, there's so many ways that you can divide us, and we create this imaginary fear. And it really is imaginary. It is more in our heads than it is in our lives. But interesting enough, the more that we think about the fear, the more we indulge in the fear, the more our minds, which are manifesting machines, create those experiences out into our world. And that proves to us that our fear was legit, but we're actually the ones manifesting this cycle of fear. You can't end fear with more fear. It just doesn't work, you guys. You can't put a negative on a negative and hope that it turns positive. It's just never going to work. And so after practicing this for the last year or two of recognizing when fear is present in my life and like almost taking it out of my body and putting it down, this is the practice I've been doing. And I feel so much lighter and so much more free to be me and free to be the wacky, ridiculous me that I am, and to not be afraid of what other people are saying or thinking about me, because usually the things that we think people are saying or thinking are just the things that are going on in our own heads. So what if we take that stuff that's going on in our own heads and we let it go and we set it down? My friends, this is how we do it. It is one thought, one fear at a time. And the reason that we are able to do this over and over is because love is our nature. Love is who we are. Love is the universal principle, the universal energy of all that is. Nature is love. Love. It's so freaking simple to start putting fear down. Is it uncomfortable? Hell yes. Is it, I don't want to say difficult, because we are the ones that make it difficult. Yes, the mind and the ego and the small self are like, don't do that. It's not safe to put the fear down. I mean, like, I have these amazing people in my life, but one of the men in my life, and I totally respect him, he just can't put the fear and the anger down. Like, forgiveness is an expansion of love. So what if we start forgiving ourselves for our indiscretions, for our imperfections, and we start forgiving others? Because if you don't forgive another person, all you're doing is holding on to that negative energy of why you won't forgive them. And that is pulling your whole vibration down. Okay. Now, some people will tell me I'm full of shit, and that's totally cool, right? Like, I don't need to know if I'm like making the biggest difference in everybody's lives. But what I know to be true is that when you put negative energy down, you can pick up positive energy. You can pick up courage. You have the space for freedom. You have the space for love, for peace, for calm. All these things that you want. The only thing getting in the way is you holding on to the fear, the anger, the guilt, the repressed emotions. That's it. I mean, it's plain and simple psychology. That's it. We get in our own ways. And since we are manifesting machines, whatever is our dominant vibration in our minds, we are going to start attracting that. So, if you love yourself, radical self-love, my friends, you can put down the fear because you're worth it. Because when you love yourself more than you love anything else, this is not selfish love. This is universal love, gang. This isn't like, hey, I'm going to take, $500 and go to the spa and spend time all by myself today because I deserve it. Okay, you can do that. Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with doing that. But if you're doing that to escape your life, to escape the fear and the downward spirals, and to avoid looking at the deepest parts of yourself, well, then that's not a great thing. I mean, we want to shift our intention behind who we are, how we're showing up in this life. And when you shift that inner energy, because this is an inside game, guys, this is an inner game of finding your peace, your strength, your empowerment, your love, this vibration of your highest self. Okay, now that's where the psychology is capped. The psychologists don't like to look at the highest self because they can't prove it. Okay, so I can't really prove much about the mind either. But anyways, I digress. The highest self, that's who you really are. That is who you are. That is the unchangeable part. That's the part that sticks with you from babydom, like when you were a tiny little thing, all the way up until the day that you die. That one constant is your highest self. And that's what we want to start tapping into. That's the part of you that knows it is love, knows it is worth it, knows that fear is never going to solve this. Courage, gang, courage is what we need to start focusing on. Courage through love. Okay? It's not familiar. It's not like the thing that you were taught how to do, but this is the work that is working. And I mean, there are certain people in our society in America right now who feel like our country's dead, right? Like everything that we grew up with is no more, and that everything is just on a downward spiral, downhill. Okay, like I see that. There is a lot of really shitty stuff happening in our society right now. And I also know that we were born for these times, guys, that we're the ones that are going to be able to solve this. Us and our kids, we are the ones who are going to figure out, I don't know if it's a new way blended with the old way. I just know that that taking away freedom from anyone is not the way that we do this work. And so that's why I'm such a big proponent on freedom, of individual freedom, because that's where we begin. We have to begin there, you guys. We have to begin with ourselves. And if you can't do this work in yourself, then if you read about it and then you spout about it, it's never going to land for anybody else. They're going to think that you're just full of shit. And again, cool. If anybody thinks that I'm full of shit, awesome. Because I'm not attached to you changing. I want to inspire people to take this journey up and to wake up to your highest self. But if you don't, that's not on me. That's your decision. That's your choice. And I can't change your choice. I can maybe inspire you and maybe just plant a seed. But this is how we start to live free, is knowing love is the universal energy that we all are a part of. And when we can tap into that love, oh my gosh, what if you just for a moment take a deep breath, put your hand on your heart, and know that you are love. Feel your heartbeat. There's a physical heart in there that loves your whole body. The blood that it pumps through you is your life, right? If the heart stops, nothing else will help. So feel that love that the physical heart has for the rest of the physical body. But then also feel further than that. Feel into the energy of the heart, that you are love. Let it sink in behind the physical heart and then just down a little bit. You are love. And that love is so much more potent and so much more powerful than fear. You may not have as much experience with it, but my friend, that is who you are. So when you start developing that relationship with love, it's easy, it's joyful, it's happy, it's like, oh, this is what it's supposed to be like. All right, like, you know, the world is heavy right now. The world is really heavy. There's a lot of dense energy, and a lot of people who are waking up are feeling weighed down by all of this dense energy, whether they're just driving to work, talking to somebody, you know, a colleague or a client. Maybe they are watching the news or listening to talk radio or podcasts or whatever. We can be weighed down really easily right now. And the only way that we're going to lift ourselves up is not by indulging in that fear, but by reversing it and focusing on the love so that we can let go of the fear. Okay? So, number one, when you want to replace fear with love, just know that you are love. Know that you are love. That is your true nature. And then when fear catches you off guard, or you start indulging in fear and you're spending way too much time in it, you're focusing a lot of your thoughts, a lot of your energy on fear, well, turn off whatever is is causing that fear. So if it's the news or if it's a podcast or whatever, social media, turn it off and then place your hand on your heart. Know that you are love and feel the fear, feel the anger, the guilt, the whatever is there, jealousy, and see if you can put it down. You know, my guru asked me to set it down because it's not worth it. It doesn't do any good. Fear does no good. Unless it's like saving your life from a real life or death experience, fear does no good. Okay? So acknowledge that there's fear and set it down. And it's a little easier to set it down with an exhale, I think, than with anything else. If you take a deep chest breath and you hold on to it, oh, that's gonna just let it like permeate and sink into your body and condense even harder. But if you exhale, it'll dissipate, it'll soften. Okay, so know that you are love. Put your hand on your heart, take a deep breath, and acknowledge the fear or whatever it's showing up as, because it's very tricky. It can manipulate you and think that, oh, this isn't fear, this is something else, this is reasonable. Just set it down. And if it comes back, set it down again. And if it comes back, set it down again. All right, this is a practice. This is not a perfection. This is not a once and a done kind of game. This is every time that you set that fear down, you lighten your load and you allow yourself this space to fill yourself up with what is your highest energy, your highest vibration. Okay, so on Wednesday, we are going to be doing a crystal class to help us overcome fear with love. And I want to just give you a quick little sneak peek of a couple of the crystals. Oh my gosh, there's so many crystals available for this. So I'm going to try not to overwhelm you on Wednesday, but we are going to go through a lot of different crystals that you can use to clear fear and to approach the world with love. So the first one that came to mind as I was contemplating this topic is this beauty right here. It's a pink amethyst. And yes, it is a real crystal. Amethyst is usually that beautiful purple hue. Pink amethyst is amethyst with hematite inclusions, which causes it to turn pink. Isn't that freaking amazing? So the purple amethyst is more about your psychic abilities, and the pink amethyst is more about the heart, anchoring it down into the love down into this world, okay? This mineral wasn't discovered until 2019, 2 years ago, gang. So that means that the earth is still giving, which I love because she still holds magic, and that gifts and tools are revealed at the right time. So you may want to find yourself a real piece of pink amethyst. Make sure that it's real, that somebody didn't just dye it or heat treat it or something to make it turn pink, but pink amethyst, tapping into your highest self, your emotions, your energy, your mind, and your physical body to heal and to connect with your purpose. Okay, so pink amethyst, gang. Next is a little different energy, a little vibration of orange. This is orange calcite, and I've got a couple different flavors for you on Wednesday, but orange calcite in general, any color, just like sweeps you clean of whatever it is that's holding you back. And orange is related to the sacral chakra, which is related to your self-worth and your emotions and being able to go with the flow and be passionate. So this is a lot about what's holding us back. So orange calcite taps us into the strength of courage to overcome our fears. All right. So if you want to overcome your fears, but something just keeps holding you back and you can't quite pull yourself forward enough to take that leap of faith and put down the fear, orange calcite is going to be a great ally. Okay. And then lastly, smoky quartz. All right. Smoky quartz is a phenomenal protector of negative energy. Not only does it protect you from negative energy, but it helps you clear the negative energy as well. It absorbs it for you. And so when you use smoky quartz, you can see your fears more clearly, which then gives you the ability to distinguish your fear from yourself and be able to put the fear down. Does that make sense? Right? We think like because we have fear, it is who we are. It is like a part of us. It is ingrained like our personality, but it is not. That fear is not who you are. The fear is an experience you're going through, an emotion that you're feeling, and it is not you. It is meant to move through you to tell you something. And you know what, gang? The only energy I believe in is love, okay? And all I see with fear is that it is a call for love. It is an absence of love, which means it is a call for love. So if there is fear coming up in your life, approach it with love. You know, if a good friend came to you or a sibling that you adore and they were, weighed down in anxiety and overwhelm of just the weight of the world right now, you wouldn't be harsh and critical on them. You would be so kind and loving and supportive and compassionate. And that's what we want our crystals and our lives to start transitioning into, is compassion. And being able to really own who we are, own the strength of this universal love. Gandhi had it right. Martin Luther King had it right. Jesus had it right. Love is so much stronger than fear. And we remember these people who totally embodied love. Okay? It doesn't mean we're pushovers because we focus on love. I am totally not a pushover, you guys. You should see me with my kids. They try and butter me up, and I just see through all of their little whatevers, and I still smile at them, but I tell them, no, you can have healthy boundaries because you love yourself, because you're not going to let everybody walk all over you. You can be free because you love yourself, because you're not going to allow anyone or anything to bind you or to limit you. You know this is true. So let's do this from a really heart-centered, spirit-centered way. We are the solution, gang. The soul is the solution. And anybody who tells me, no, I love you, but I disagree with you. The soul is the solution of the world's problems right now. And there's a ton of them. And this is how we're going to solve them. And it only takes a small percentage of us to wake up. We don't have to have the whole world wake up to the truth of this reality. There are universal truths out there, which means love is more powerful than fear. And I believe in these universal truths and these universal principles. And I think that we can get our brothers and sisters who are in different religions to follow this, because we're not in competition with them. You can be any religion and believe that love is stronger than fear. All right, so, okay, I hope you guys have fun with this. If you have questions, I would love, love, love to hear from you about this topic. Let me know. Next week, we are going to be talking on Monday about the 3 spiritual truths that you need on this path. So we've been talking about waking up, but what are some of the truths, some of the foundation that we need to really, truly walk this path? And again, a couple crystals that are going to help us with that path. And lastly, on Wednesday over on Instagram at Mindy Arbuckle, we have a live crystal class and crystal sale happening that's going to go through all these amazing crystals for owning love and letting that be our dominant vibration instead of fear. Fear, gosh, it's so dang tricky, and it wants to be in charge and it wants to pull us down, and we don't have to let it anymore. Okay? And with our crystal allies, we can have a whole hell of a lot more fun living this crazy life that we are. We were born for these times, gang, and know that you are strong enough to face any of this. I absolutely believe in you. You are a freaking phenomenal person, and you have what it takes to become the man or the woman that you want to be. Okay? Mwah. Working on a course, oh yeah, by the way, just working on a course right now that is the burnout solution, because most of us are burning out, not because of overwork, but because of all the stress that we're facing right now, and how radical self-love is the antidote to that burnout, to being able to feel vital and empowered and in tune and authentic. So if you guys have any questions about that, also let me know and I will keep you posted. It's going to be released in December and we start in January, gang. I love you. I will talk to you soon and have a phenomenal Monday. Bye, gang.